Those are kind of obviously the harder ones to connect with, but any sort of passion is good passion. So even if a guest is passionate about a negative aspect of their stay, that's an opportunity to turn that moment of misery into a moment of magic. And that's a Shep Hyken quote. I just think it's so true. I mean, when people come to the front desk and they're fuming, irate, when people call down, they're upset about something in their room, it's because they care. It's easy to get defensive or defend our product or banter back and forth. But the reality is they care because they've invested so much time and money into making this experience great. And it can be difficult to empathize sometimes, but we got to remember that these guests they're from all walks of life, and who knows what was going on behind the scenes before they came here.
Welcome to the Vacation Rental Show. This is your essential playbook to grow and scale your vacation rental business with advice and insights from the best in the biz. I'm your host, Linnell Gordon. Welcome to the Vacation Rental Show. I'm Linnell Gordon, your host, and today's guest is Eli Yoder, and he is the Assistant General Manager at Breckenridge Grand Vacations. It's one of Colorado's most established vacation rental hospitality companies. And he spent more than a decade with the organization. He's been in the business for 15 years with them, and he helps lead operations and owner support while contributing to the growth of a really large company, guys, that now employs over more than 650 people or so and operates some of Breckenridge's most recognized resort properties. His work focuses on mainly delivering exceptional guest experiences, strengthening the owner relationships, and maintaining a family-oriented culture that's defined Breckenridge Grand Vacations since its founding. I'm really excited to have him. Welcome, Eli.
Thank you, Linnell.
It's really fabulous to have you talk about what you do. So tell me about what you do and what you love about what you do. What's your favorite part of what you do?
Yeah, absolutely. So like you said, I'm the Assistant General Manager, specifically at the Grand Timber Lodge, which is our largest property at Breckenridge Grand Vacations. It's 320 keys. I've been in that role for 9 years, been with the company for going on 15 years. I think what I really love about it is being able to positively impact the vacation experience for our guests every single day. So we have about 16,000 guests that stay with us each year, and it really never gets old. So yeah, being able to have a positive impact in all their experiences. We say it all the time that they work for us, but we got to remember that each of these guests really saved up for years or even decades to be able to come out here and spend time with us. And it's really a magical thing.
I know that one of your passions, according to what I've read online, I didn't ask you this, but one of the things I read about you is that you really focus on turning that first-time guest that you get into returning visitors. Tell me, what are your strategies for doing that?
Yeah, absolutely. Our company really embraces the peak end theory. So when our guests are staying with us, we acknowledge that the most memorable parts of their stay are going to be whatever had the largest emotional impact for them and the very end of their stay. So we're constantly striving to make the entire guest experience positive, but particularly when I see guests staying with us that don't have a lot of passion for it, and it seems like they're just going out their day, those are kind of obviously the harder ones to connect with, but any sort of passion is good passion. So even if a guest is passionate about a negative aspect of their stay, that's an opportunity to turn that moment of misery into a moment of magic. And that's a Shep Hyken quote.
I love that quote. That's a great quote.
I just think it's so true. I mean, when people come to the front desk and they're fuming, irate, when people call down, they're upset about something in their room, it's because they care. It's easy to get defensive or defend our product or banter back and forth. But the reality is they care because they've invested so much time and money into making this experience great. And it can be difficult to empathize sometimes, but we got to remember that these guests they're from all walks of life, and who knows what was going on behind the scenes before they came here. And this is an opportunity for them to leave the job behind, leave school behind, leave the family strife behind, and just get in the mountains, get some skiing in, get some mountain biking in, and forget all about that stuff. So that's our opportunity. When we see that passion, the positive passion is easy. They're already excited. We can just keep the flame stoked. The negative passion, we just need to reframe it. So figure out what's going on, empathize with them. We recognize from their point of view. Guests often get taken aback when they present an issue and then you say, yeah, that stinks. I hear you. And they're like, oh, I was expecting defensive nature or some armor to be put up. But we're like, no, we get it. You want this day to be great. And so do we. So if it's not that, then thanks for letting us know about these situations and thanks for giving us the opportunity to write it. So we'll correct it and usually send them back to the room with some cookies or a bottle of wine to put a little icing on the cake, and it's great.
I love that because I was just going to ask you what kind of operational procedures you use for that, but you just explained that before I asked it. So I think that's fabulous. You look to turn the negative into positive. And I think we all do in property management, but I think empowering your people to be able to do that is something that maybe we don't do as much as we should. Let me ask you this. How do you measure your guest satisfaction?
We embrace the Net Promoter System. So we use NPS. We track NPS for all of our guests that are checked out. And then we aggregate it. We use a little AI to see the guest sentiment and make things better.
Walk into that a little bit. I'm going to ask you to walk down that path a little bit. What does that mean to you using AI a little bit for that?
We've just recently started embracing that. We've been using the NPS with our post-travel surveys for many years, but we just recently started partnering with an AI platform to help aggregate some of the data, help get some of the guest sentiment from it, which it was stuff we were already doing, but it was just a manual process. We were pulling the comments and seeing trends in there, but that just saves us a little bit of time, and it can quickly point towards things and be like, hey, get new pillows. Your check-in process is too long. So that's been very helpful.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think there are people that are taking all those files and using platforms like Zapier, which don't cost a lot, to throw it all in there and making their own. I think that's fabulous that there are platforms out there that are doing that as well. But I've just mentioned that because I don't want property managers to think that's way out of their budget, because a lot of the AI pieces are, but you actually can take all that data, guys, and throw it in through that product called Zapier. If you have anybody that's even mildly technically savvy, there's so much you can do with that. But I love that you're doing that. That's fabulous. In your location, like Breckenridge is very well known, and you have guests that return year after year to go skiing or play there. How do you keep things fresh? What do you do? Do you do things, a little differently each year? You do something special for guest loyalty?
Great question. So Grand Lodge, specifically where I work, we opened our first phase in 1999. So next month we'll be celebrating our 28th anniversary of being open. We opened the last phase in 06. And as the property ages, we need to keep our offerings fresh, keep our amenities fresh, and just keep the place looking good. So we're constantly towing the line between updating the resort, but not modernizing it. So we don't want to lose our look and feel and what it means to be Grand Lodge, but we want it to be fresh, and we don't want it to feel tired, dated. Anytime we get those comments, it's a jab in the heart. So with the amenity package, we're always looking at like both what's hot right now and what's the interest of our owners and guests. We're a fractional real estate property, so we have a number of guests that return each year that have been coming up since we first opened or close to it. And for them, they might be aging, their kids or their grandkids are coming up. So we're looking at keeping it fresh for them. A few years back, we did a big amenity shift where we were realizing that our full service spa just really wasn't getting a ton of clientele. So we did a big shift and we switched to just having a massage studio. The massage is definitely popular. And then we added 4 movie theaters, added a full arcade space, made our gym significantly bigger. We doubled the size of the gym and our on-site activities. So we made a large space for on-site activities. We have 2 full-time activities agents that are running games from anything from tie-dye, Build-A-Buddy. They're doing art and crafts classes and sip some wine and paint something. So that's been fun, and just recognizing what's working, what's not, what's underutilized, and is there a better use for the space? We're always looking at that.
I know that driving loyalty is always hard in any area, in any industry. So what are kinds of things that you do to help drive loyalty each year?
I think the biggest thing is just showing you care. When you're receiving feedback, show your guests that you want to hear this feedback, you care about it, and you're making changes as a result. And I would say that goes both for our customers and our employees. When our employees give us feedback, it's important to circle back to them and say, hey, we implemented this. Thank you for this suggestion. As a result, we moved the paper towel holder. As a result, we added plants in this area or whatever the suggestion is, or we didn't implement that. And here's the reason why. And that goes both for our customers and for our employees. I think anybody wants to feel like they're heard and wants to feel like they're part of something. If you feel connected, then you feel like you are instrumental in driving an industry forward and a business forward, then you're going to want to come back. You're going to want to stay there as an employee, and you're going to want to come back as a guest. And that's what we want. We want engaged customers who take pride in staying with us, recommend us to their friends, and they say, hey, you're going skiing. Don't go to other ski town. No, I'm not going to name them, but instead go to Breckenridge because I know a really great place to stay. Stay at one of the Breckenridge Grand Vacations resorts. They're going to treat you like a valued member of their family. And that's the biggest thing. It's not rocket science. It's treating them well and providing a world-class product. Both the property itself and the interactions with employees need to be world-class.
I love the fact that you said people want to be listened to, because I think that is so important. The other thing you said that really has struck me is that you're not defensive. We're wrong. We're not going to say, hey, you're wrong. We're not going to gaslight people. We're going to tell them they're right. So I know you moved from owner support, and I want to ask you a little bit about that, but this is kind of early in the game, but I want to hear some of your favorites or one of your favorite guest stories.
There's a number of guests that I've made strong personal connections with over the years, and almost all of them started from some sort of negative experience. And if you look at my wife and I's Christmas card list, there's multiple Grand Summer Lodge guests from over the years, multiple BGV owners. And yeah, it kind of goes back to the moment of misery to moment of magic where, I can go through each one and be like, this person didn't understand how this system worked, or this person was upset when we changed these clean fees. And then I took the time to connect with them, and we sat down, talked it through, figured out how things go, and now they send us pastries and we send them a Christmas card. It's fun. There's a bunch. So I've been with Breckenridge Grand Vacations since 2011. There's a number of owners that I've connected with, and they really become family. There's really no other way to put it. It's you get to know them, you get to know their families, you get to know their kids, their grandkids, and it's emotional when they have a new kid or when someone passes away. It's no different than a valued member of your family or a cousin having a kid or passing away.
I love that you have that relationship. That truly is what I define hospitality as. We use the term loosely, but it's true hospitality when they do think of you as their extended family there. And I have a big heart there for you. The Vacation Rental Show is proud to partner with Lynbrook, the experts in vacation payment solutions. Their comprehensive platform features guest ID, authentication, and mobile wallet support while directly integrating into your reservation system. With decades of experience, Lynbrook provides unmatched expertise in integrated homeowner payments, chargeback mitigation, and fraud protection for both you and your guests. Contact them online at lynbrookgroup.com to learn more. Let me ask you this. What trends are you currently seeing in the guest expectations that these are new? We haven't seen that before. What are you seeing there?
I think people don't want to wait, right? Whether it's for communication, for you to get back to them, whether it's for their room to be ready, for a service, somebody to request towels. I think I've definitely seen expectation for timeliness and lack of appreciation for having to wait it's getting a little more urgent, which isn't a bad thing. I think we've had to adjust our systems as a result. So pre-COVID, our guests didn't have the ability to communicate via text with our employees. Now that's by far the main form of communication. So we're texting constantly, and if they shoot a text message, hey, send them some more towels, need some more soap, need some more coffee, then, the expectation is you're going to get back to them right away with the product right away. So we're paying closer attention to those time standards than we ever have before. We're constantly having conversations on how we can get guests into their units quicker. If a guest checks in, our standard check-in time is 4:00. If a guest checks in at 10 a.m., then it doesn't behoove us to explain to them why it takes until 4 to get the room ready. It's our duty to get a room ready for them ASAP. So that's what we do. And like I said, we have 320 keys, 347 rooms total. So we're working magic on the back end to make things work, moving things around, do what we can to get people into their units and on with their vacation as quickly as possible. So sitting around waiting is not ideal when you have a very limited amount of vacation.
Tell me about your owners. What things have you seen? What trending things have you seen differently in your owners than used to be?
The majority of our owner base is from the Front Range. So we're seeing a lot of people from the Front Range of Colorado.
Wow.
Denver, Fort Collins, Colorado Springs, and that area's been growing a lot. So Summit County, where we're located, has definitely grown, and Denver and the Front Range as a whole has grown a lot. So I think we're seeing people, and this is quite answer your question, but by the time they get up to us, it should be about an hour and a half drive from most of those cities. On our turn days, when it's busy and there's ski traffic, it might be a few hours before they get up there if they're stuck in traffic, if there's a weather, if there's an accident. So that's the expectation now, is that people show up at our door. They just went through a not so pleasant experience. And it's not always the case, but we expect that so that we can exceed their expectations and immediately turn the vacation around. So they show up, probably have to go to the bathroom, probably need a drink of water. They're hungry, kids are tired, and we got you. So you show up here, here's a bathroom, grab a bottle of water, here's a freshly baked cookie for you, and let's get you into a unit, take a nap, go in the hot tub, grab a glass of wine, do what you got to do. We got you. So I think that's been a bit of a shift with just the whole Denver metro area growing so much over the past decade.
What is one operational improvement that you've made that has had a true impact on guest satisfaction? The texting, obviously. I know the texting. Is there anything else that you can think about that's really made a significant improvement?
We've been doing a number of things to get our managers out of their offices more. So our leadership team, we can all fall victim of spending too much time at our desks. It's
That's true.
spending too much time checking emails, communicating via our channels. And we rolled out a program called the Adopt a Building program, where each one of our assistant managers adopts a building for a while. You're in charge of a building. You're in charge of walking the halls once, twice a week. You're walking the halls, checking from a guest perspective. Is everything working? Is everything functioning? Is there anything that feels wonky? Are there stains in the carpet? Is there paint that needs to be touched up? I think just getting our leaders out of their office has been huge. So adopt the building program has been good. We also do a rotation on our busy turn days on who is our lobby lizard. And I was actually lobby lizard yesterday. And so from 3 to 5, when it's our busy check-in time, I was just stationed in the lobby. And I'm not at the desk. I'm just greeting guests as they come in, seeing what they need, seeing if I can help answer questions for them, direct them to the right person. A lot of times people walk in and maybe the first time they've ever set foot in that lobby. So they don't know the front desk or concierge or where the restroom is or where the cookies are. So just helping to direct traffic. And that's been great. And we've seen a lot of engagement from our staff, from maybe a housekeeping leader or engineering manager. People from all over the property are expected to do those lobby lizard and adopt a building shifts. And that's been super helpful.
Okay, everybody listening, guys, all of you, how many of you now want a cookie? Do you smell that cookie in your head? Every time he said that, I was like, oh, good. Maybe I'm just hungry, but I think that's a fabulous way think about how many real estate techniques we use as real estate agents, as property managers to make that warm, comfy kind of thing. Cookies is by far one of the best ways to do that, I have to say. So when you reflect on your career, because you've had a good career here and you're still young and you've got a long way to go, but when you reflect on your career, what is the one most memorable thing that stands out to you that gives you the most satisfaction in what you're doing?
With a large hotel, there might be 1,000 people staying with us any given time, and emergency situations come up, right? And I'm not going to name any names, but we had a situation a number of years back where we got a call from a guy that his wife was having a medical situation in the unit. And so I went up to the unit and she was having a heart attack, and responded to the unit, and 911 was called. Myself and their adult son were taking care of the situation. We were helping this woman out, performing CPR, and then she got taken away in the ambulance, ended up getting flight for life down to Denver. And then in those situations, it's kind of like hitting a baseball in the fog. You don't know if you hit a home run or got out, right? And so you just don't really know the outcome of the situation a lot of times. And I had heard that the woman was alive, and that was it. And then fast forward a year later, we had some guests staying with us, and they called down to the front desk and asked for me to go up to the unit. And I didn't recognize the name of the guests, and I went to the unit, and it's the same husband and wife. And they came back a year later, and she's alive and well. She had a pacemaker put in her chest, and she has a defibrillator in her chest as well. And I got to give her a big hug, and just a phenomenal experience. That she's like, when I recovered, the first thing I wanted to do was come back up here and give you a big hug. And it's just a magical experience to see that obviously she's alive and well. And that's the best part of it. And that she just wanted to get back on vacation and come back and stay with us. And she said her kids weren't quite ready to come back to property yet. It was a little too traumatic for them, but it was really cool for her to come back up there and come back to Breckenridge and not have a heart attack this time. And yeah, I just got to give her a big hug, and there was many tears were shed. Yeah. So that was a really cool experience that I'm never going to forget.
I'm sure that is one of the best stories I've ever heard. I like that story. That is a really precious story. And the fact that they came back, I understand the thing about the post-traumatic stress syndrome and not going back to places that could be difficult. But that's fabulous. Let me ask you this. Outside of work, What do you enjoy about living in Breckenridge, one of the most amazing places in the United States? What do you like most about it?
It's just an amazing community. The like-minded individuals up here that want to be in the outdoors, they want to be healthy. It's such a cool spot. I have a 2, almost 3-year-old daughter. My wife and I and our daughter are just living the dream up here. We love it. We love the community a ton. We love to give back to the community. We have a number of philanthropy wings that we do. I've been volunteering at the community college, mentoring a first-gen college student through his experience here, and serving on the board at my daughter's daycare. And yeah, it's just so much fun. And I mean, obviously, skiing and mountain biking whenever we can, just getting out there. It's great.
The people that I know from your area are really, really kind people. One of my best friends lives not too far from you. And I just think that your life, your quality of life is different than in other places. So that's the reason I wanted to ask that. Is there any other advice that you would give to property managers who are looking to be better at guest retention and loyalty and happiness, satisfaction?
Sure. Yeah, I would just say don't get bogged down. It could be easy to get in the weeds, and everyone has the hardest part of their job, right? And everyone has stuff about their job that makes them not want to get up in the morning. But at the end of the day, we're getting people on vacation. We're not surgeons. We're not rocket scientists. We're getting people on vacation, and we should be having fun doing it. So if you're not having fun, change it up, do something different, have fun, and engage with the guests and get to know them a little bit. And if they give you challenging situations, it's not a negative statement on what you're doing. They're giving you a layup to do better next time, and embrace it as such.
Yeah, that's really interesting because my husband and I were talking this past week. We said we learn so little from praise. We learn so much from critique, and so pay attention to the critiques. And I think that you've said that in such a kind and gentle, hospitable way. It's been a real pleasure to have you on, Eli. Thank you so much for coming and sharing with us. I wish you the very best in everything you do, and I hope you have a great time in the snow that's there now.
Yeah, thank you very much. It's been an absolute pleasure chatting with you today, and hopefully your storm doesn't get too bad out there.
I think everybody's having a lot of storm here right about now, but hopefully by the time this airs, all the storms will be gone and we'll be in just the best middle of our season. Eli, if people want to reach out to you, if they have questions, or if they're starting in that role, or they have someone that needs mentoring in that role, could they reach out to you?
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. My pleasure. I think you have my contact info, and if you can post it on there, or the best way is, but they can find me on LinkedIn as well. I would love to have conversations about people that are interested in hospitality, interested in the vacation experience, and getting people on vacation. You
can find him at Eli Yoder, Yoder. That's the way you pronounce your name too, right?
Yes, ma'am.
God, I did it right to start with. I do. I have this thing. I really have a problem. I hate mispronouncing names, and yours was pretty easy. So that's fabulous. Okay. So guys, reach out to him. If you have any questions about it, I mean, he's obviously done this a long time. He's really good at it. He's genuine, and he'd be a great mentor. So take advantage of it while you can. So thanks again, Eli.
All right. Thanks now.
This episode of the Vacation Rental Show was brought to you by Lynbrook. To find out more about how Lynbrook Group can help grow your vacation rental business, visit lynbrookgroup.com. Make sure to search for The Vacation Rental Show in Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube, or anywhere else podcasts are found, and hit subscribe so you never miss an episode. On behalf of the team at Inhabit, thanks for listening.